Get ready, everyone, and you just might survive. Ruben and Jason are here with their X-Men deep dive. Going through all the X-books is their mission, so get ready for the Learned Edition. Things are getting weird in here. Ruben hopes another sword book gets announced this year. It's the Weird Dose of X, the X-Men comic show. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed not to blow, except your mind. It's the Weird Dose of X, the X-Men comic show. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed not to blow, except your mind.
Welcome, all you weirdos, neo-Knorlocks, and everyone currently experiencing aphantasia. You shouldn't be trying to visualize me anyway, I'm married. It is time to receive your 191st Weird Dose of X, the mutant member of your Weird Science podcast family. I am your fantastic, with a PH, host Jason, broadcasting to you as always from the increasingly spring-like Wrong Turn studio, perched high atop stately Weird Science Manor. And joining me from his surprisingly popular vegetable stand, it's my pal Ruben. Hey Ruben, how the heck are you?
Hey, how's it going, Jason? I am like 11 degrees of nervous.
Oh, is that Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin? What kind of degrees are we talking here?
Yeah, just life.
Life in general?
Yeah. I have a presentation. I have a presentation on Thursday for a topic that I am not qualified to present on.
Oh, that's always fun.
I have 3 days to become an expert.
I'm sure you'll get there. You gonna do the whole picture everyone in their underwear thing, or does that not work for you?
No. Actually, I was talking to a colleague, and they told me I should look into beta blockers because apparently giving yourself drugs to help you give presentations is something we do in my industry.
Really interesting.
Which I have not. I never heard that, but maybe that actually would help me.
You know, I'm one of those people, I can give a presentation in front of a room full of people, hundreds of people doesn't bother me. Put me at like a cocktail party with people I've never met before and tell me to mingle. That's when I need the beta blockers and or maybe lots of scotch. One or the other, probably not both. Probably shouldn't mix those. But yeah, I can present to anybody. It just doesn't bother me.
I mean, that's why you're a teacher. So
I guess so.
I always admire that about you. You're very calm under scrutiny.
I don't know, it's almost like I'm acting. Not like I'm a different person, but like I've got a role. If I got a role that I can enact, I can do that. If I just got to mingle and kind of be myself, well, that's a lot harder. But anyway, I'll get off the couch here. Yeah.
Last thing I'll say is, in a thinking on your feet situation, like a negotiation, a back and forth, it's great. Mm-hmm. But when I have to sit there for an hour and monologue to somebody, that's when it's just awful. Okay. Like I need the back and forth reactions, right? My brain stops working
gotcha.
when I don't get the feedback.
So next time I'm buying a used car, I'll get you on the Zoom and you can help me out.
Sure.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I'm not looking for a used car today at the moment. We're going to talk about some comic books. How about that? This week we have a few to talk about. We have X-Men number 26. Then we'll head over to Wolverine number 17. Then we'll pop back to X-Men Annual, which, is it really an X-Men Annual? We'll talk about that. And we'll finish up with a very quick look at Moonstar number 1. Now, for our Marvel Cosmic fans out there, both of you, yes, Nova Centurion did drop this week, but we're going to save that issue for next week.
Save that for the X-Men podcast.
Yeah, save that for next week's X-Men podcast. So don't worry, Nova fans, we will get there. Start off with just one small item of news. We are getting a new Bishop miniseries starting in June. 5 issues, written by Saladin Ahmed of Wolverine, art by Mario Santoro. The solicit says that the series will feature the return of Bishop's sister from that same future timeline he comes from, a sister named Shard. Did you remember Bishop had a sister?
Yeah, in the future, definitely.
That's a thing? Okay.
Yeah, that was like a big deal. He was, I forget if she was kidnapped through time or I think she was maybe targeted by, oh God, what's his name? The mutant killer guy.
Trevor Fitzroy?
Fitzroy, there we go. That's what it is.
She's connected with him. I should remember her, I'm sure. She's been in like 50 plus issues, so she's pretty substantial. Been all over 1990s X Factor. And here's a line I copied from her fandom wiki page in the trivia section. Shard dated Trevor Fitzroy for a considerable time before her death and rebirth as a hologram.
Yeah.
Oh, X-Men comics. So I wonder why they never hooked up again after she became a hologram. Is he some kind of bigot? I mean, come on, man. Get real. Join the 21st century. Anyway, that's a 5-issue Bishop mini by Saladin Ahmed, landing on your local comic shelf this June.
He should have just had her resurrected in Krakoa.
Boy, that's interesting, because would they resurrect people from a different timeline? Did she die? Yeah. She died in the other timeline, right?
I'm sure she didn't die in this timeline. Did not have a Cerebro copy of her because she was from the future, right? But
yeah, but what about the waiting room? Has everybody. The waiting room means you don't got to explain crap. That's the whole point of the waiting room.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll argue about that. In June, we will definitely have that argument, and we'll talk all about our favorite character ever, Shard. I want to put a T at the end of her name, but that would be very rude, so I'm just going to move on to our first actual book of this week, which is X-Men number 26, Danger Room Part 1, written by Jed MacKay, pencils by Netho Diaz, inks by Sean Parsons, colors by our first Cifuentes Suho, and letters by our old pal Clayton Coles. So this starts a new arc, and as we mostly expected, we, for the moment, leave behind some of what I thought were the more interesting dangling plot threads. So there's no 3K in here, no mention at all of Dougie. It does continue the story of the ONE's new director, Crimson Commando, Frank Bohannon. This issue was told in 3 interweaving threads. You got John Greycrow continuing his bank-robbing ways. You got Glob Herman selling veggies to the local Merlins, people of Merle, anyway. Most of the rest of the X-Men are looking into the sheriff's disappearance. We'll save that for last. So
Can I ask you a few questions about this?
Please do. I would love that.
So this very first page, we've got Greycrow robbing a bank. It's a pretty cool action scene.
Yeah, I love the perspective. It's the worm's eye view looking up at him. So you get the bank small in the background, him huge in the foreground. Cool piece of art.
Yeah. So you see there's like this little person kind of between 2 telephone poles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On the bottom. I stared at that for way too long, wondering who the heck that was. I don't think that's anyone really, but I was like, that's a really strange artist choice to like kind of draw a person on the street.
I hadn't even noticed him. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to be someone on the street nearby the bank as he's running off.
Yeah.
I guess it gives, scale a little bit.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. I just thought it was really strange. I was like, I wonder if this is him doing a solid to somebody, like a family friend, putting them in a comic. But
I don't know what Netho Diaz looks like. It could be him drawing himself, and for all I know.
Yeah. The other question I was going to ask you is, you're a bank robber.
Yes.
And you put on this mask, but your whole body, your whole body is mechanical except for like your shoulder. Like, who are you fooling here, Greycrow? Like, the mask is not.
That's true.
The mask is not covering you up. Like,
we are in the Marvel universe. He's not the only one with mechanical bodies. So
yeah, but he's got the bandolier. I mean,
he's got the bandolier. He's got the flowing hair.
Yes.
You don't need the Deadpool-esque stocking cap over your head.
Yeah.
I don't think he wore that in his previous bank robberies we've seen, did he? No. I'll have to go back and check.
Does he go by Scalp Hunter still, or
I don't think we're supposed to say that anymore.
Okay, that's not PC.
So Jim, also all these things Jim has to edit out. Jim loves doing all this editing.
Yeah.
But when I saw this, the first thing I thought was, wow, I'm really getting used to this new artist. I'm guessing I'm starting to vibe with him, but then I realized, oh no, it's actually just Netho Diaz drawing in a manner that reminds me of Ryan Stegman and reminds me of that style I used to like. But the art in this issue is all really nice. This page, there's a page at the end with the X-Men being attacked by tentacles and stuff with the exact opposite perspective, like from directly above, emphasizing how small they are. Awesome artist. One of my growing favorites, Netho Diaz.
Yeah. I also have to it's just cool art, but you see he's got this bag, this duffel bag, and the money's like flying out of it.
Yeah.
I know it's for dynamism, but I'm like, dude, you got to have a better game at this point. Is this how you always rob banks? It's like there's a hole in the damn bag because it's like losing this money everywhere.
He's not the most efficient. You get the idea that he's not entirely in it for the money, right? If all he wanted was to make money, he probably has other ways. It's about the thrill. It's about, beating the system. It's about, some psychological thing, I think, for him more than just cold hard cash. And I think that's part of what leaving some money flying around symbolizes. That's what I bring to it.
The last bit I'll say about this is later we have a conversation with Scott and Psylocke kind of discussing this. Mm-hmm. And she's going to go break out her boyfriend because apparently he gets captured here. And everyone seems cool with him. I'm just thinking, man, he's putting a lot of cops' lives at risk. He's running around with his gun, right?
Yeah.
This is not... Everyone seems a little too cool with, robbing banks.
Especially like Scott. He's not super law-abiding, but you think he would see this as an unacceptable risk for mutants, for his team to have Psylocke involved. Yeah. We can say that Grey Crow is not going to be shooting that gun. It's only for intimidation. But still, anytime you cause other people to run around and take their guns out, felony murder is a thing for a reason, right? You're putting people in danger.
Yeah, I understand that, especially during the Krakoa era, there was this like view of, we're not subject to non-mutant laws. And I could see them still having that philosophy to some extent, but I don't know. It seems like you would not, like, it makes the O&E people a lot more sympathetic when you're just like, oh yeah, I guess we got to break our unaffiliated bank robber mutant out of jail because that's what we do. I would have liked to have seen Scott be like, I know you got to do this, but like maybe don't come back after this.
Some kind of I told you so, perhaps.
Yeah.
In that vein. Okay. So John Greycrow fleeing this bank, money flying around, and he requests immediate exfiltration from somebody named Amy. That'd be Amelia Vogt, mutant teleporter, former acolyte of Magneto, former member of the S.H.I.E.L.D. teleport team. We haven't seen her in this run, but House to Astonish blog reminded me of this. I didn't think of it myself. Back in issue 5 of this series, Psylocke says to Greycrow, oh, you're paying that awful Amy Vogt to teleport you around the world so you can rob banks. So that's who Amy is, if you're curious. Amy must have stepped out for a moment because no teleportation occurs. And we don't get to see exactly what happens next, but it would seem that Greycrow did not choose to go quietly. I mean, he's surrounded by all these cops. I don't know how many. It looks like a scene out of Death Note when all the cops stopped him on the highway. There's just dozens of police officers here. I don't know how they knew he was going to rob this bank. Somebody, dropped a dime on him. Maybe Amy Vogt kind of took a bribe. Who knows? Yep. Sold him out. But yeah, they stop him. He doesn't teleport away. And
the other thing that's interesting to me.
Go ahead.
The Psylocke miniseries before Psylocke Ninja, we had like a man in the ear for Psylocke that was like designing weapons for her. Are we just going to like say that he's not around anymore? You think that because he had like opinions of Greycrow, and it's kind of weird that he just hasn't showed up in X-Men or in particular in this little side story.
Interesting, because that would have been a long time ago, though. A lot of water under the bridge since Psylocke Ninja.
I just wonder what happened to that kid. He just like, you're not cutting it.
I'll have to do a wiki dive, see if that's ever explained.
Yeah. So, I mean, granted, I stopped reading that series, so maybe he was killed off, or maybe he quit, or maybe it was explained in some way. But
could be.
It seemed like they were a trio for a while.
Mm-hmm. And here, he's stopped by the police. He takes off his mask, and then we cut away. And the next time we see him, he's both in police custody and also in the hospital, hooked up to all the machines. Respirator, the machine that goes ping, everything, all the machines.
I mean, what do you imagine happened in this scene? So he makes his daring last stand, but then he just immediately gives up?
No, I think he tries to run away, and he tries to maybe at least... I'm saying he's not actually shooting at cops.
I'm assuming he is, but he like gets taken down.
Otherwise, I think weird. He gets shot a lot. I think that's what I think. I think he gets hit by many, many bullets.
And then he just falls down without pulling the trigger.
That's how I'm writing in my head, but who knows?
Yeah,
he definitely
I think
gets
he killed
shot.
A bunch of cops.
Ooh. Yeah, I think even Scott would say something about that if he actually murdered a bunch of police officers. Maybe we'll see more details on this as we go forward.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that Scott reluctantly gives Psylocke leave of absence from the team to go to Greycrow's side, even allows her to take Zorn with her for healing and to take the Marauder. Now, functionally, as far as a story, this seems to be like a reason for Psylocke not to be part of the current mission. Like maybe she needs to be left behind to come and save their bacon at the end. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Greycrow. Next thread is our buddy Glob. He's just being his usual lovable, awkward, globby self. He's selling fruits and vegetables in town at what looks like a farmer's market situation. Not sure what the other farmers think of this competition. Glob can grow vegetables year-round, virtually for free, because the X-Men have limitless electrical power via Shi'ar tech.
Yeah, this is like a very sweet story, but then he's basically putting the local farmers out of business.
It's one of those you can't think about too hard in comic book world because Shi'ar tech, if you can reproduce it, it just changes the entire world, right? It solves the energy crisis.
Yeah. I'm just going to say he's not growing at scale. That's what it is. So you get these cheap potatoes, but it's the first 5 people that stop at a stand, and then everybody else has to go pay for regular price stuff.
Marvel wants to be our regular world plus superheroes, so we can never actually have the entire economy of the world changed, even though we have Mysterium and limitless electrical power and all this other stuff. It's just not the way they want to tell stories, which is fine.
Sure.
So Glob here talks to Rose Ellen Cobb, mom of Piper Cobb and the absorbed twin Robin, the one who's now working for Cassandra Nova. Mom's worried about Robin, naturally. Glob tries to make her feel better, sincerely, but not very effectively. Then Glob sells a few leeks to a nice older couple. And finally, Glob is by himself, packing up the remaining produce, singing a little tune. Did you happen to recognize the tune Glob was singing to himself?
No.
Yeah, he's a Beastie Boys fan, Ruben.
Oh, nice.
The very same album as the intergalactic one that I used for some cosmic stuff. Different song. So there Glob is, peacefully hip-hopping to himself, when an unknown person wakes up or walks up to him, asks, "Hey, are you a mutant?" Glob tells a little joke, "Oh, no, it's just a skin condition," but then says, "Yeah, obviously, I'm a friggin' Glob." The unseen person pulls a gun. Glob looks terrified, even drops his garlic. Camera pulls way back, like miles back, so we don't see any details, but we do get blam, blam, blam sound effects, which suggest nothing great is happening. So I'm going to call this 2 off-panel shootings in one issue between Glob and Grey Crow.
Yeah.
So should we be worried about our boy Glob?
I'm worried. He seems to be taken out by some kind of bigoted mutant hater.
Certainly could be.
It's the farmer down the lane. It's how they handle competition in Merrill, Alaska.
Can't pay his mortgage.
Ain't nobody charging $1 for a leak in my town.
This is my leak territory.
Yes, it's the leak mafia.
The leak cartel. Okay, final thread. All about Sheriff What's-Her-Face, Paula Robbins. She's been kidnapped and the police station has been trashed, which made me stop and check if I'd missed an issue, because it feels like we were supposed to already know this. And no one's really all that fussed about it. Like, oh well, the police chief's been kidnapped. Very matter
the
of
way
fact.
It's described is weird, but I think later it gets explained that this just happened and that they're being called here because of this.
Scott is just like, so yeah, whatever. There's just another thing to check into. I know they're not super buddy with the sheriff, but I would think
emotions
be a little
are
more
poorly
emotional.
handled. Yes, I think if you get a call like, "Hey, come down to the police station," and then you show up and it's like wrecked, you'd be like, "What the F happened here?"
Yeah,
like it would just be like, "Oh, let's just walk around, no biggie," right?
Like Quentin being a little jerk is fine because he's a little jerk, but there should be more of a range of emotions, I would think. But they show up. It's like Scott says, "Oh, she's an ally. She's an asset. She's useful. Her replacement might be worse." I know he's a calculating kind of guy. I just think that the emotion dial should have been clicked 1 or 2 clicks the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine. Magic tracked Robbins using the sheriff's blood as a spell component. Magic teleports the crew out to what looks like a giant container ship in the Gulf of Alaska. Seems abandoned. They find Sheriff Robbins tied up alone in a room. The sheriff says, "Hey, it's a trap." No shit. Teleportation shielding pops on, trapping them there so magic can't exfiltrate them. I like that word now, exfiltrate. And this bit closes with like an alienish, purple, mechanical, green tentacles closing in on our heroes. This is, again, that really cool shot with the directly from above perspective, making the heroes seem kind of small and terrified. Pretty cool. And I guess this room is now the titular danger room because there's no other danger room in the issue.
Yeah, this is just a word pun. I think they were McKay was way too pleased with himself.
It's just the phrase danger room is so X-Men. Go ahead.
Yeah, am I allowed to reveal who this is?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so at the end we find out that the person who's running this death trap on the ship is Maxine Danger from the Beyond Corp, which was like a short-lived Spider-Man adversary tied in with Ben Reilly. And I guess she's been busted out of jail by, what's his name?
The Crimson Commando.
Crimson
Frank
Commando,
Bohannon.
thank you. Frank Bohannon. Yeah. But I was like, So your name is Maxine Danger, so it's clearly a danger room. It was like, oh God, what a word.
Oh, sure.
And then I also thought, like, you're stealing arcade's like gimmick here. This is like totally an arcade story, but it's fine. I get like other people would have, the death trap room, but I was wondering, like, does Arcade know that she's muscling in on his
intellectual property?
Stick? Yes.
Yeah. It is a weird call to go to Maxine Danger and Beyond because they started off in Next Wave, which was a Warren Ellis Marvel like satirical comic, which was explicitly not in continuity. But then later years, it's kind of treated like it was in continuity, at least parts of it. And then, in 2021, it was when I first started doing stuff with Weird Science. I was on the Marvel show, and that was when Maxine Danger and Beyond were a part of that arc of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, they were like funding Ben Reilly as Spider-Man, right, for a bit.
Right. And if you look at like the tentacles and especially the cover where it has like sentient looking objects that shouldn't be sentient, that's very much a Beyond thing.
Yeah.
Like, walls and wires and chairs and things grow faces. They had the sentient sandwiches. That was Jim's favorite. So you can see how it kind of looks like Beyond stuff, but really weird that McKay would choose to bring Beyond in on this. I mean, I guess Roxxon is the other evil Marvel corporation. They're busy doing Thor things at the moment. So maybe that's why, call in Beyond. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a general idea of like crossing over villains from other properties. I'm a fan of doing that.
Make the universe feel connected. Yeah, I get it.
Makes it feel a little more connected. But I just never thought that this specific character, Maxine Danger, was so unique or had any sort of intriguing hooks that was like, yeah, we got to keep bringing this character back. Like, what is her deal? She's just like random corporate stooge villain. Like, why do I care about this character?
Mm-hmm. And why would Frank Bohannon, who I thought of, I don't know him very well, but I think of him as more of a Law and Order type guy, which could be wrong. Why would he bring in this corporation and help her break people out of prison to be used for these purposes? Yeah. I don't know. I guess that plan will be revealed more going forward, but it feels weird in this one right here.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, this is a bit of a stretch, or maybe just because I'm thinking about Suicide Squad these days. Kind of like they're making Crimson Commando like a Suicide Squad type leader, where he's busting all these criminals out and having them do things for him.
Could be. We only just get the mention of it, so I guess it really depends how they develop that, but I can see where you're going.
Yeah. I just wonder if he's getting one person out of jail. Why wouldn't he get other people out?
Could be. We'll have to see what he's up to besides just giving the X-Men, a hard time, because last time we saw him, he wanted it to look like the X-Men were supporters of him and the ONE.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this particular gambit, sorry to use the word gambit, lowercase g gambit, I don't know how this particular tactic moves that forward. But again, it's only issue 1.
Yeah, and we have Bohannon saying on his call with Maxine saying, hey, the X-Men are having a terrible day. So it made me think, like, what's ONE trying to do? Are they just trying to kill the X-Men? Or just send a message? And if so, like, what
are they going to swoop in and rescue them now to show that they're the powerful ones? The X-Men need them?
Yeah.
Could be.
And then the other thing about this is when he says they're having a terrible day, it made me think, is he responsible for getting Glob shot? Like, does he know about that?
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I pegged that as totally unrelated, but could be.
He just thought like, oh, they're on a ship and they're having a bad day.
Yeah, I
think
that.
He's got all the dominoes and he's tipped them all over, and I think he's responsible for Glob getting shot.
So I say Gambit and you say Domino. That'll be confuse people. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not that Domino.
Not that Domino. That's
maybe he's also responsible for getting Greycoat captured. Like he had all the schemes going. I think if that's the intent, it needed to be spelled out just a little bit more, because it sounds like you didn't think any of that was related.
Well, maybe we're not supposed. Maybe you're just smarter than me, and we're not supposed to figure that out until next issue. I guess I have to wait and see.
Yeah.
So I thought this was an okay issue. I enjoyed the art quite a bit. I love Netho Diaz, great stuff. Again, the opening and closing kind of shots. The John Greycrow from the Worm's Eye view, the X-Men at the end with the bird's eye view. Love that stuff. Just a classic superhero kind of art. Well done. The story's pretty basic. I know McKay can't give away all the secrets yet. 3K and Dougie are going to be long-term plot threads. Probably not going to be resolved for a long time, but I want to know. I want to know what's going on with Dougie. It seemed we spent all that time in the Age of Revelation. Now we come back to the present, and now we just back burner that whole thing. Bugs me a little bit, but I get it. Please.
One last thought. So Glob's getting shot here, right? I'm assuming he's not dead. He'll survive somehow.
Right.
Could this be the in this timeline, the trigger for him to become badass Glob Herman. Like he's not going to want to be unarmed going forward.
And then Grey Crow takes him on as an apprentice, and they start robbing banks together.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I just need to see more Punisher.
Globby and Clyde. Can that be a thing? Globby and Clyde? Yeah, that's an interesting idea. We'll have to see. Again, another thing. I guess you're making me like this issue better because you're finding new seeds that are planted here where I'm mostly annoyed that the prior seeds aren't flowering yet. So I guess I'll raise my score a little bit. I'm still Frank Bohannon and Maxine Danger as villains. And they're not even a Cassandra Nova, right? Cassandra Nova is not my favorite villain ever, but she to me is way more captivating and threatening than these couple jamokes. So
I mean, Crimson Commando moving all the pawns on the chessboard. This could have been my girl.
Well, you are making him sound smarter than I gave him credit for. So again, maybe I will come out of this arc being a Crimson Commando fan. Unlikely, but could happen. I know McKay's, setting up some more plates to spin here. We've talked about him doing this in the past. He gets all the plates spinning and he kind of goes back and forth amongst them. So we get Glob, we got Grey Crow, we got Bohannon. May all be tied together, might be all separate. I'm waiting for him to make this as interesting as the things were like right before the Age of Revelation. So I guess I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10. Not all the way to 8, but a pretty good issue. If you're enjoying this book, you should definitely keep reading it. It's just slightly on the not so exciting set-uppy side for me. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not even that high. I'm just at a 7.
It's a 7.
But when I first read it, I was like, this is kind of nothing issue. But then I started thinking about things, and I was like, there's some stuff here. And I think maybe the reason this doesn't hit so much for me is I just don't know who this character is, and do I view him as a threat? Not yet. But maybe this is the start of me seeing like, oh, he actually is a problem. He's no Abigail Brand, that's for sure. I don't expect him to be
who is Ruben?
A master manipulator, but maybe he is. Maybe he'll break her out of wherever she is, and then suddenly I'll think he's the greatest character ever.
You just keep thinking of that, Ruben. That'll get you through the next month as you dream of Abigail Brand one day showing up again in X-Men. Until then, let's move ahead to where's my ding sound? Ding sound is there. It is.
Oh, very last question for you.
Okay.
So in the scene where we see Maxine Dangers,
yes,
there seem to be like a bunch of silhouetted people standing behind her. Do you think that's an indicator of like her being affiliated with some other baddies and we're going to see those, or is that just background art?
Well, I took
they seem to be standing in a very sinister perspective, like she's just a person and there's more people.
I took that as part of their conversation, as how Bohannon said, I got those people, not broke those people out because he works for the government, but I managed to bureaucratically get some people out of prison for you.
Yeah.
I think that's who they are, and we're just not supposed to know who they are yet.
I want to say something really crazy.
Oh, love it.
So this the silhouette on the right-hand side.
Okay.
And the face, and there's like a weird like kind of floofy thing on the back. I was like, that looks like a Mr. Sinister to me. Huh. Like a Mr. Sinister silhouette. I think Mr. Sinister's there with her.
I can see how like the shoulder of his cape, you can see that shape. I don't see Mr. Even Sinister working for Maxine Danger. I can't imagine that happening, but it could be.
And I think the one on the left is somebody with like a power gauntlet that's like being held up. I think it's somebody standing there with a menacing pose.
You are reading way more into these super vague silhouettes than I even thought about. I just see like 3, maybe 4 people. I don't even know how many.
Yeah.
Well, we will find out. Now we'll really and truly move on. I'm going to hit it again to Wolverine number 17, legacy number 409, Cold and Alone. Written by Saladin Ahmed, art by Martin Kokolo, colors by Jesus Abertov, and letters by Corey Pettit. So, Ruben, tell us what we need to know about Wolverine number 17.
Doesn't have Alpha Flight in it, so I was disappointed.
No Alpha Flight, no sale for Ruben. We get it.
I almost bought the issue because our poor fearless editor was very sick and not responding to my questions about getting review copies this week. So
yeah, we hope Jim's doing well. I know he's having a tough time.
As soon as I saw there was no Alpha Flight in it, I was like, I'm not dropping
$5 my hard-earned money on that.
No, exactly. What do we call this group? Can I call them new Morlocks? I don't know if they're beneficially granted Morlock status, but that's kind of how I view them.
I'm calling them the Neo-Knorlocks, the new Canadian Morlocks. That's what I have in my notes, Neo-Knorlocks.
Knorlocks, I kind of like that. All right, so The Knorlocks and the Morlocks.
Are we calling this like, is it a new arc? I mean, we dropped the Alpha Flight stuff. We dropped the Department H stuff. It's kind of a one-shot that's set in the current standalone basic situation. Again, it feels to me like they're kind of marking time. I'm still on record saying I think this is going to end at issue 20, and I think that Solid and Ahmed is just kind of spinning things out to get to that round number, fill up another trade. So I think that's why we're getting this one-shotty kind of thing as we wait for the Adamantine story to develop.
Yeah, this is kind of a very big filler issue, but and it do get the vibe of like we're heading towards an ending from these issues. But anyways, the Knorlocks and Wolverine and Silver Sable are still together, and at the end of the last issue, their first town had been raided by Department H, and they chased them off, and then said, "Well, we're gonna move, so you won't know where we are next." Apparently, they walked down the road, and there was another abandoned town.
I figured these must be all over northern Canada. There's just abandoned buildings.
I know. It's like I need somebody from Canada to confirm or deny. Like, do you guys just have abandoned ghost towns all over the place? They're a dime a dozen.
Maybe it's like a gold rush thing. I don't know. Was this near the Yukon?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of laughed. I was like, this is weird. Because at first I was like, did they even actually relocate, or are they just like at the same place? But
maybe they have a teleporter. Who knows? It's just northwestern Canada. That's as specific as we get their location. And that's I mean, I've looked at a globe, Ruben. That's a pretty big place. Northwestern Canada.
In my headcanon, this is like within visual line of sight to the original town they left. And so if Department H came back, they would find them in a heartbeat. But yeah, so the Knorlocks are getting situated in the town, and I guess Wolverine and Silver Sable are helping do some home reno, some this old housework, repairing everything.
I do love that one panel of Logan doing the full-on snicked, but he's chopping like 2x4s to make houses.
Yep.
Very funny panel.
Very convenient. Dude saves a lot on power tools. He's got the gear at his
but he's really putting his whole like back and hip into it like he's stabbing a dude, but it's just a piece of wood. Very funny.
Yeah. They're doing some repairs, and they're also kind of working together and training people for their safety, because they're not going to hang out in Canada forever. So the issue kind of starts out, and we've got Deepfake and Ape kind of walking around and talking, and there's some fun banter here. In part, Deepfake just asking about, like, did you guys actually really live in the New York sewers, and was that crappy or not? Which is a good question. I would
combo with the existing character Ape from back in the day, and Death of the Morlocks type of storyline, and Deepfake, one of the new Morlocks. And we do learn more about her backstory too, and her power. We find out that her parents died in a car crash like a year ago. All shows she's way younger than I would have guessed. She's like 16.
Yeah, I did not gather that. And her eyes are apparently gone. And apparently,
so after the parents died, that was the trauma that triggered her mutant power to show itself. Her eyes turned to like shadow. That's why she's always wearing the sunglasses all the time.
Yeah.
And she needs line of sight to maintain these deep fake duplicates.
Yes.
Plot point right there.
Yeah. So I didn't quite realize that they were being tasked with hunting Logan, but apparently that was their mission.
Yeah, that's not revealed to the readers right away. We think they're just out for a walk. They're supposed to be, a training thing where they're supposed to be tracking Wolverine, and they kind of lose interest. He jumps out and just, kicks their punk
bag
asses.
over her head and kicks their butt. Yeah.
Right.
So that's that. So just a generic fight/training scene. And then we go back to the town, and, we see the scene where Wolverine is repairing the village, helping out with it. And we meet Tushar, who's like another one of these Knorlocks, and he's apparently his ability is to do home reno. I don't know. He's
a little kid is an important thing.
Yeah, he's a little kid,
like
and
8-9 years old.
Yeah, and Logan didn't quite realize that he was the mutant. He thought the mom was the mutant, but apparently his powers manifested early. And I think Logan's saying, like, I don't know if we can actually fix these houses. And the kid's like, well, I can help. And then he's like, I don't know if you can help. And the kid just like touches the house, and it, restores back to still pretty crappy. I mean, I look at those boards, they're not like in perfect, whatever, but
it's a big step up from where they were.
It's a big step up from where it was. Yeah, it looks livable. At least the glass window is like repaired.
What really this scene makes me wonder is, what is the status of mutants in this world at this time? because it doesn't feel consistent. Like here it says that, once his mutant power showed itself, weird guys in scary uniforms kept showing up at the house, bothering his mom, bothering him at school.
Yeah.
Where in other books, mutants are fine. Even here, Logan said, I got to take care of this kid. There's nowhere else he can go to. Nowhere left for us mutants to run. Yeah. How about Louisiana, Logan, that other book you're in? How about Exceptional X-Men? They were just doing fine there.
Yeah, they're still repairing after, what was that tornado that like wrecked New Orleans?
Oh, yeah, the hurricane that we talk about.
Katrina, right? Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, they got jobs for this kid. Send him down there and fix all those old buildings that were wrecked by Katrina.
The X-Office doesn't seem to have a good handle on what does the world feel about mutants right now. It's just not consistent. Like maybe Canada is just a super repressive place in this timeline.
I'd also say this kid could make some bank, right? Fix it or flip it. This kid just buy some dumps and
get him an HGTV show, for God's sake.
Yeah, he would be making some money.
Be a star.
Yep. So,
and we're only showing this kid because he's going to get kidnapped and he's going to be the plot of this book.
Yeah, and just to show that like Wolverine likes him. Gruff Wolverine likes to be friendly with the kids. Yeah, and then we also in the first scene and then kind of in this scene initially, there's some like Silver Sable's gone for a swim, and then she comes out at the end of Wolverine kicking the butt of the Knorlocks, and then there's some flirtation, and then after this home reno scene, we see that like it's not just flirtation; they're hooking up. So,
for sure, yeah,
gratuitous sex scene with Silver Sable because that's what you do with Silver Sable.
Logan, one hairy little dude too.
Yeah, and I was laughing. I was like, okay, this is definitely continuity, right? Like apparently she likes the hairy guys. Right, Nightcrawler now her.
Oh yeah,
now
that's
Wolverine.
what that phrase was about. I didn't pick up on that. He likes, Nightcrawler. But Martine Coppola does draw every tiny little hair on Logan's back, highly detailed. So if that's what you're into, folks, pick up this issue.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there is a point to this, which is to show that, like, and I think in his head dialogue, he's like, "This is like a long term thing, but it's good enough for now." Mm-hmm. But he also has at least some connection to her.
Some connection, and it's also an opportunity to have Logan distracted so that Tushar can be abducted, get lost, kidnapped. We don't know exactly what happens at this point. We just know he's missing, and they come and interrupt their special mommy-daddy time to say, hey, that kid who was introduced missing, 2 pages earlier, now he's missing.
Yeah. So everyone in town goes looking for him, and Wolverine sets off on his own, and he finds the kid in a cave. And we see like a kind of like a scary hobo guy with a knife, and the kid's like paralyzed. So it's kind of like, what's going on here? And he says something about
it does kind of look like Arcade on a meth bender.
Yeah.
Speaking of Arcade, and this guy, is this one of the Morlocks? Is it just some random passing monster evil dude?
Yeah, it's not explained very well. I thought he was like maybe the reason the town was abandoned.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I don't think that's ever explained here.
It's not spelled out. I think he's just like I don't think he was part of the Morlocks, but I didn't flip back to the prior issues to see. Maybe he is one of the characters that we've seen before. But anyways,
yeah, it's just they needed to have something happen, so they create this guy and explain who this guy is. At least what we learn about him.
Yeah, so he spits out this like purple bluish goo crap, and it gets on Wolverine and kind of like paralyzes him. And so I guess we learned that's what happened to Jashar. He'd been spat on. And then it like...
Well, I think we're skipping a step because Logan says, I can tell he's a mutant. Okay, fair enough, Logan, you've seen some mutants. And also the guy stabs himself in the face, peels open all the skin on his skull, and he's a friggin' insect underneath.
Yeah, I was going to get there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't remember the exact order that those things happened, so I guess he must have spat after that. But in any event, he's like a disgusting mutant kind of insect creature, and then he says like, "Oh, that's a parasite." So I was like, "Does that mean it's not a mutant?" I couldn't tell.
He says, "I know," and this is in one of the narration boxes. I know right away that he's a mutant.
Yeah,
even though I couldn't tell you how I know. Oh, whatever. Okay, and this gooey spits. It says this is an interesting idea. It says it paralyzes you, but in a way, not that it paralyzes your muscles. It paralyzes your will to move.
Yeah.
Okay, idea. But then Ruben, how does Logan overcome this paralysis from not having enough will to move?
He taps into his anger.
Right. He just has more will. His willpower spikes. He's like Hulk Hogan at the end of a match.
Yes.
And he just
his hand is like
it.
shaking. Like
Hulkamaniacs.
You gotta give me that strength. The strength. Yeah. You
drop the big leg on him, Put that Andre the Giant over his head and body slam the big man.
Yeah. Yeah, he just basically force wills himself out of it, and then he kills the parasite.
Right. And we're told that the parasite calls himself Coldbug, like Goldbug, but with a C.
Yeah.
We will not be seeing him again. I predict that. Logan kills him real good, and that's it. That's the end of the thing.
Yeah. Then we have a final issue, like a final scene. And
epilogue.
We're in Croatia now, and the Adamantine is, I don't know why, like he's there and he's killing a bunch of mercenaries. I mean, he's on this like global mission to try to find like the Ultimate Warrior,
right?
Just to do another wrestling.
I looked back
reference there.
It was the issue Legacy 400, the one that the Adamantine thing came to a head, and that was where Romulus showed himself to not be worthy enough to be, like the lackey or the manifesting body of this Adamantine. So since then, Romulus has been trying to find his replacement. Yeah. And that's why he's taking the Adamantine to these places, the boxer, the MFA fighter, and now these Croatian mercenaries.
Yeah, I understand that principle, but you start with Romulus. Like everyone he's gone to since then has been like a peg below Romulus. It doesn't seem like a very good strategy for finding your replacement.
In my mind,
choosing to go after, if he had found like somebody awesome at one of those locations, I'd be like, okay, that really makes Romulus seem like a chump.
In my mind, Ruben, it's like you're being asked to find someone better than you so that your boss can fire you and hire them. So
you think he's like sabotaging it?
Yeah, I think he's slow playing it on purpose because he knows that once he finds a winner, he's going to be not only out of a job, but the Adamantine's probably going to kill him. That's what I'm writing in my head, at least. That's not on the page, but that's my own little personal headcanon.
Yeah, that made more sense because I was like, you're just going after nameless generic mercs, right? Like if they found like the ultimate merc here, I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. So
no offense to Croatia, but
yeah. Unsurprisingly, he slaughters them and then says like Romulus is doing a crap job finding my replacement. And then there's one less.
Slaughter all of them right away.
There's one less mercenary. Is like he's left alive for a second, so he's like, well, who's the best to you? And the guy's like, well, Silver Sable's pretty badass. And he's like, last I heard, she's like hanging out with Wolverine.
Which is hell of a coincidence because that's right where the Adamantine was a few issues ago.
Yeah.
So
and
that's going to be how we get the Adamantine back around into northwestern Canada so we can wrap up this run.
Where's the like security leak here? Like who's like reporting on Silver Sable like hanging out with Logan, right? She's been like off the grid in like
damn good question.
Upstate Canada. So it's like it's kind of weird. It must be somebody from Department H is like a secret mercenary gossiping.
Some sort of gossip website. Who knows?
You never knew who kicked my ass in Canada today. It was Silver Sable and Wolverine.
Another, I think, important line here is that the Adamantine says, we decree Romulus's time on this earth at an end. Okay, so Romulus trying to, extend his employment here, not going to work. Then he says, we shall have the Godling take up his station. Now, the Godling, I think, is going to be, let me hit this. It's right here.
Oh, Hercules.
Yeah, I think he's going for Hercules because Hercules had an adamantium weapon at one point or adamantine weapon. I think that's going to be the next character that gets pulled into this Logan adamantium situation.
Yeah. Well, that would make sense to me because that's a bit a step up from generic MMA wrestlers and now mercenaries.
I think so. So this was issue 17. I think we have 3 more issues before this wraps up. I haven't seen that anywhere official. It just kind of feels that way to me. So we have 18 and 19 to kind of run around some more. And then I think 20 is going to be the big battle with Adamantine. And then it'll be the goodbye, I think, for Saladin Ahmed on Wolverine. Could be wrong.
Yeah. This felt like a big filler issue for me. And it was nice enough, I guess, but I just didn't think too much of it. So I could probably give it like a 5.8.
5.8. I'm at a 6. It's a monster of the week, right? They kind of create the character who's going to be kidnapped, then they create the kidnapping character, and then you kill the kidnapper, and it's over. There's no particular ties to anything else except for the basic setting is where we've seen it. It's fine. The art is perfectly fine. if you just want to see Wolverine do some Wolverine stuff, here you go. Anything we want to add about this before we move the heck on?
Nope.
Okay, let's go on to X-Men Annual Number 1, aka Annual 2026. It's called The Creationist. Now, don't get too worried. I thought it was going to be, is this a religion thing? No, nothing like that at all. It is written by Ryan Stegman, who says this will be his last X-Men work for the foreseeable future. Art by Steve Skroce with Stanford Green and Ryan Stegman. Colors by Arthur Hesley. Letters by, who else, Ruben? It's Clayton Coles. Very much an art-centric issue, as you might expect from a book written by an artist. Even the plot of the issue is explicitly about art. Cool idea. The execution, maybe a little bit muddled, but I appreciate Ryan Stegman trying to do something interesting here with his one issue.
I think Ryan Stegman's a better artist. I would rather him draw his own story, but I guess he didn't have time for that.
Well, he draws parts of it. So like Steve Skroce does most of the work here, but the monsters are monsters created by artists, and those monsters are drawn by Green and Stegman.
Interesting.
So it's kind of, it's an interesting idea.
The one thing I'll say is Skroce did a good job with Phoenix's costume. I didn't think the Phoenix, like the newly revealed Phoenix costume, looked all that cool when it was revealed in Stephanie Phillips's book, but seeing it here, it actually does look pretty cool.
It does. This is the black with the yellow stars look that had Richard Rider Nova, so very, very interested in the Phoenix book. Can I get slightly pedantic, Ruben? Would you mind? I know I never ever get pedantic. I might do it just for a second here. The title of this issue, X-Men Annual. Nothing in this, I mean, sure, X-Men as the general concept of mutants, sure. But the title of X-Men that Ryan Stegman was on, none of those characters or settings pops up here, right? This features the full cast and the full setting of Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a cop-out, because there is an Uncanny Annual too, right?
That's what's coming up. That must be why.
That.
Yeah. Well, the Uncanny Annual coming up is written by Gail Simone and is going to include like plot points from her actual run. So I guess they can't call it that. Ryan Stegman's been the artist on the regular adjective list, so we'll call it X-Men Annual, even though it's really uncanny. Oh well. This issue does get started very quickly, much more quickly than its review, as it turns out. On page 1, Jean Grey shows up on Haven House in her cute little new uniform, says something bad's about to happen. Page 2, something bad happens. A rift in reality opens up. On page 3, monster comes through the rift. And on page 4, the Uncannies start fighting it. So I think Ryan Stegman likes action in his action comics. I think that's a very artist kind of a choice here. No sitting around talking. They're not going out for falafel first. Boom, right to the action. And the monster that comes through the rift reveals this annual's high concept, because the monster starts off looking like a pencil sketch from a comic book, and that then becomes a fully inked, fully colored comic book monster. This monster is the brainchild, literally, of a baddie calling himself the Creationist. He's a mutant, an Xavier Academy dropout. He has the mutant ability to, quote, manifest anything he can imagine, but the problem is, he's got no imagination. Zero. Like the imagination version of being tone deaf. I've heard the term aphantasia, like being unable to visualize anything. The usual example being, can you picture an apple? And when you picture an apple, does it look like a cartoon apple? Does it look like a real apple? Can you not picture it at all? So maybe that's his deal. In any event, he's kidnapped 2 actual Marvel artists, who are Stanford Greed and Ryan Stegman, put themselves in the comic. The creation himself looks kind of like Steve Skroce. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, because the whole point is he's not an artist, but he kind of looks like him. So the idea is that he has these real artists imagining and drawing monsters for him so that he, the creationist, whose name is, I think, Bobby, he can then look at those pictures, think about them, and make them real, send those monsters after the X-Men because he kind of feels embarrassed about having been a failure as an X-Men. Decent idea. So long issue short, Jean Grey creates a portal into Bobby's mind for Logan and herself to enter. They see baby Bobby, or young Bobby, using his power and real creativity as a kid. But then little Bobby's scolded by his mom, saying, you know, the standard, I'm not going to have my kid be a mutant, bringing images to life kind of a thing, which we are explicitly told is this is the moment that his creativity was snuffed out. So Jean gets the real artists in the creator's lair to draw her and Logan, meaning the 2 of them appear there in the flesh. They rather forcefully convince Bobby to reawaken his imagination so as to imagine up a hero to defeat the monsters he sent after them. Bobby thinks up the hero he imagined as a child. Bada bing, monsters vanquished, his imagination's back, he actually begs for forgiveness, the artists go out for pizza, everybody's happy. So I feel like there should be a deeper layer of meaning here. Like originally at first I thought, oh, is this going to be an anti-AI thing because he doesn't have his own imagination, no creativity, but then he's an actual person. So is it maybe showing what AI does? Maybe I'm just trying to make it too deep. Maybe it's nothing else like that. Ruben, what do you think this might have been about? Is there a deeper layer here, or is it just cool high concept art thing?
It came across as like they were alluding to something, like an industry critique or like an ex-office critique. I was messaging you in the Slack, and when I first read it, my reaction was like, this is Ryan Stegman saying that people steal his ideas and don't give him enough credit, and so that he should take the leap and be a writer finally. I know it doesn't work with like the fact that there is a Stegman character plugged in, but I kind of read the creationist as a stand-in for him. But like it's if there is like a deeper meaning, like this is layers and layers, it's not very clear what that deeper meaning is.
I haven't looked up and seen if Stegman's done like interviews or things where he maybe more explicitly says what his idea is, but it looks really cool. The deeper philosophical symbolic stuff, either I'm missing it or it's kind of half-baked. Maybe 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't know. But it looks cool. It looks fun. There's some nice jokes in there, like the creationist telling Stegman to draw faster and Stegman complaining, oh, I'm not a fast artist. You know that comes from a deep place within Ryan Stegman being hounded to draw faster. But that was kind of funny. We don't see any of the kids in this issue. It is all the uncannies, none of the outliers, which is just fine. It's just, I think Stegman wanted to make this more of an evergreen kind of story. It is set in the current continuity, but not really tied to that.
Yeah.
Kind of weird that this is the first time we see Jean Grey back on Earth. Exactly when this happens, it doesn't matter because we're never going to see this referenced, I can't imagine, in Uncanny.
Yeah.
But it's a fine issue. I think Stegman is definitely a better artist than he's a writer, but this was a pretty cool idea. I'm going to call it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's a nothing story. And when I said I like Stegman's art better than this, I do, but I don't want to say that the art's bad. Like, as I flip through it again, Strauss has very emotive faces.
Yes, a very distinct style. If you see one of his pages, you know it's his, which is generally a good thing.
I think my biggest gripe on this is the perspectives at times seem off. There's a lot of scenes where Jean looks exactly the same height as Logan. And I never thought of Jean I always thought it was a little bit different. But then everybody seems kind of like a little shorter than I would expect.
Just the general ratios and things. He's not trying to be a very realistic artist. It's almost towards caricature. It's not quite a caricature, but it's in that direction, which I think I don't know that I'd want to see like all of Uncanny or all of X-Men drawn in this style, but as a one-off where the difference, the contrast in the art style is really key to this whole issue working at all. You have to have those monsters looking like they're from a different universe. So you need an artist who doesn't, right? You couldn't have Netho Diaz do the real world and Stegman do the monsters. You wouldn't get that contrast. So I think it works for what they're trying to do here.
Yeah. And I'd say the characters look cool, but the backgrounds in almost every scene don't, to me, look that great.
The one bit in the creationist lair where you see almost like the Kirby-esque tech behind them, plus the paraphernalia of an artist studio, I think that looks neat. I looked at that splash page for a while. You can see that they have a copy of How to Draw the Marvel Way with the cover torn kind of in the corner. You see like some coffee cups and some empty bowls of cereal.
That single panel looks good. Yeah,
that's a cool page. I like that.
But anyways, it's a bit of a mind bender that means nothing. And if you think about it too deeply or try to like make it make sense, like how do they get through these different dimensions and things? But if you just read it quickly and don't try to think about it too deeply, it's fine. So again, to me, 6.5. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I guarantee I will never remember the story again. And I do not expect to see the creationist anywhere ever again.
I don't think he's going to be the next big villain. He's not going to be the next Punchline, I don't think. So it looks cool if you're into art specifically. If you're a collector of comics because you like to look at cool art, you're going to like this a lot, I think. I think it's a cool looking book. If I was only in it for the pictures, I'd be up in the 8s. The story is perfectly fine. Ryan Stegman is a decent writer. He's a much better artist. And maybe he wants to write some more. Maybe he's on the right track. But I look forward to seeing his art more in the future. Okay, that is it for the annual. One more book to talk about. This is going to be really quick. This is Moonstar #1, A Path Unknown, written by Ashley Allen, who somehow has taken her stint on Magic and spun it into 2 concurrent titles, because she's doing this and Magic and Colossus, both spitting out of that Magic book. Art by Eduardo Ordino, who we know from the Infinity Comics. Colors by Arthur Hesley. Letters by Clayton Coles. And yeah, this is kind of a Psylocke : Ninja situation. Not that it's a continuity implant, but it's one of those books that I knew before I opened it. It's just not for me. It's by a writer who is not one of my favorites. Features a character I don't really know or care that much about, and it's continuing a storyline from a title I stopped reading. So in Magic, the book Magic, Dani Moonstar had become part of the Society of the Eternal Dawn group, and this title takes her forward from there. Also ties into what's been happening in Thor, in that everyone in this world has forgotten that Asgard and Asgardians even exist. Dani hasn't, I guess because she herself was a Valkyrie, so she's so tied in with Asgard that she gets to remember. But no one else believes her when she says she was a Valkyrie because, hey, Valkyries don't exist. Asgard doesn't exist. Plot starts with Dani visiting her parents at home, having dinner, and then the Society of the Eternal Dawn folks show up, recruit her into looking for this stolen mythical sword, Dainslife. The sword is sentient, possesses its wielder, loves to kill people, Ruben. Just can't get enough of it. Favorite thing in the whole world, killing people. This sword loves killing people more than I like curling and tea combined. That's how much this sword likes killing. So the team...
apparently you're a monster when people talk trash about curling.
I made one joke, Ruben. I don't know. Jim just can't get over it. I made one little joke.
I want to apologize to Brad. The views of my co-host do not reflect my own views. I think your family is incredibly lovely, and I'm sorry.
Are we just trying to drive subscriptions to the Patreon so folks can read the Slack? Is that what we're doing? Because I'm for it. I can do that. But back to this book. The team fights some zombies. They fight the guy wielding the sword. The sword kills one of Dani's new teammates, which I guess is supposed to provide stakes, but I can't even remember the person's name, so clearly didn't work on me. We learn that the big baddie's trying to suck in enough souls for the sword to do something. Some kind of ritual's got to be completed. Big baddie thinks the ritual's a good thing. Dani thinks the ritual's a bad thing. So that's the story. Big bad trying to collect souls. Dani trying to stop him. A decent, if not super unique, premise for a miniseries. Art-wise, Ordino here, he looks a lot like he did in the Infinity Comics. Cartoony, body proportions not so realistic. Nice sense of action dynamism. I think if you're a fan of Dani Moonstar, you're probably super thrilled she has her own title, and you're probably going to be reasonably happy where it's going. I don't think this is ever going to tie into any of the main stories. It's not telling a story I so much care about. So, Ruben, unless you really want to twist my arm, I think we'll just be dropping this. What do you think? You good with that?
Well, I didn't start it, so I do not have any objection
Fair enough.
To dropping it. Yeah. I didn't even think Garb thought it was that great. I think he just was asking, is anyone going to talk about it?
Yeah.
Apparently you read it. It was not worth it. So
yeah, it's just super not for me. It's a completely reasonable story about a character I don't care about. I don't think there was nothing in here that made me think, oh, wow, I got to learn about Dani Moonstar. But nothing that made me think, oh, this is an awful book. It's a reasonably well-told story, some cool art. It's just not something I care about. So I guess I'm going to call it like a 5.8 out of 10, but not in a this is bad, more in just a it's not for me. If this book is for you, you probably know it by now. This is really just say, hey, folks, this book exists. If it sounds good to you, check it out. And maybe get back to me and tell me what I'm missing and why I should care about Dani Moonstar.
You should care because she's the best Captain America.
That's going to be the team up. It's going to be Dani Moonstar, Captain Marvel, and Kamala Khan. That's going to be the next big team up book. That'll be a book we can.
The team could be called Not For Me.
The Not For Me League. Yes. I think that's all I need to say about this book. There's my ding sound. Okay, let's wrap this thing up and get on with it. Next week, Ruben, we have X-Men United #1. That's the big book. That's the one where we get the new team-up book where the headquarters is of the mind. Eve Ewing's going to be writing it. Will it be great? Will we get to see, really what I'm curious about, will we be seeing any of the old exceptional X-Men characters, Bronze and Melee and Axo? That's their names, right? They were pretty cool. I guess they were pretty cool. I remember their names.
They're in it.
Okay, that's good.
I haven't looked at the issue yet, but I've seen people that had review copies already talking, and I will approach it with trepidation because the people that are like raving about it are talking about how, this is just more confirmation that Eve is the freshest, best X-writer out there. And I was like, well, that wasn't my feeling with Exceptional X-Men.
Do we think there'll be someone breaking the fourth wall in this issue? Because that's something Eve Ewing had some character do in, I think, every issue. That was very much a shtick she liked.
Yeah.
You think yes?
I think there will, yeah.
I think so too. We'll see. I have not seen it yet. I have not gotten a review copy. Maybe later today. So I think we'll predict, yes, there will be someone breaking the fourth wall.
I hope we get an Emma Frost that doesn't have like the weird, like glowing yellow hair. Hopefully she's gotten some glow ups.
I don't know offhand who the artist is. I guess we'll be finding out. Also next week we have Magic and Colossus #2. We'll talk about that. It's also Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant #2. I'm going to at least read through that and probably mention if anything interesting happenings. And then Imperial Guardians #1 by Dan Abnett. This is that team put together by Maximus, Crazy Team, Gamora, Captain Marvel, Amadeus Cho, Darkhawk, and Cosmic Ghost Rider. This is that one was going to be an ongoing, and since Marvel Cosmic just got chopped off at the knees, it's now a 5-issue mini.
Yeah.
Hey, it's better than Exiles, which is a 0-issue mini. So 5 is better than 0.
Yeah. One little comment about Storm. Apparently she got fired for being on the Avengers. The very end
fired from the Avengers.
Yeah, the last issue of McKay's Avengers story was Captain Marvel disbanding the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Like basically saying my time as commissioner is over. Everybody's not an Avenger, and I'm going to put in a motion for anyone who was an Avenger recently to cast votes for who the next commissioner should be, and then the first remit of that new commissioner is to pick who's on the team.
So Storm wasn't like specifically fired for cause, just
not for cause. Everybody was
laid
fired.
off. Everybody's laid off.
Yes, but basically he like totally wiped the slate and said whoever writes the next Avengers, which is on hiatus for a few months, gets to like start from scratch and pick their team.
Do we know who the next Avengers writer might be?
I don't think it's been announced. I think it's going to be kind of following out of this Weapons of Armageddon.
Oh, so maybe it's Zdarsky. Maybe he gets to write Avengers. He seems to be an up-and-coming writer at Marvel these days. Okay.
I only bring this up because Storm apparently has more time on her hands, unless she's doing like crazy cosmic crap in her current book. But
we haven't
seems like
really
one of the
seen...
X teams could give her a call and say, "Hey, do you got some time to work?"
I don't think in her own book we've seen her say, "Oh, I got to go off and be on the Avengers." I don't think that's really played into it. We'll wait and see. So I don't have recommended reading this week. I do have a recommended viewing. So the X-Men Annual reminded me of an anime series from last year. It's called Zenshu, Zenshu. The premise of that series is that an animator who's overworked, because it's Japan and all the animators are overworked, she gets isekai'd into her favorite fantasy world from her own favorite anime. And in that world, she uses her animation skills to draw up creatures and technology to defend that world from monsters. And what really reminded me is the look of the partially drawn monsters as they come to life in the anime, super similar to the look of the Stegman and Green monsters in the Annual. I'm not saying they necessarily saw the anime. It's just a similar idea, and the execution of how it looks even better in animation because you can kind of see the creatures coming to life and starting off as just, vague sketches and then coming into full-blown form, which is pretty cool. I know the anime is on Crunchyroll. I'm sure you can find it other places too. Worth watching at least the first episode if that sounds cool to you. Once again, that's Zenshu, Zenshu. I'm sure you can see clips of it on YouTube at least.
Yeah.
So, Ruben.
Some of those manga, I don't know what you call them, writers, artists, whatever. Mangakins, is that
Mangaka.
What it is? Mangaka, yeah. I'm very impressed by their work ethic. Like, I wish I had that. And I read recently that, like, One Piece is now tied with Superman for, the most selling comic of all time.
Wow. And
that's just one guy. And, like, One Piece started, in the 90s. So within, I don't know how many, I know the 90s is now like 30 years. So it's not like that. I guess it's impressive to me, but Superman was like 1938. And so he had like a 60-year lead with Superman and he's already caught up.
Japan does have a great work ethic They also have a word, I think it's karoshi, which is a single word that means death by overwork. So, pluses and minuses on the Japanese work ethic. But hey, Ruben, while all our listeners are chained to their own desks drawing for the creationist, what else can they do with their valuable time?
Read more X-Men comics.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Oh, he's a little Hercules.